Hello and welcome to K-Stop Fuse's K-Pop podcast. Hey guys, this is Jeff Benjamin. I am an editor here at Fuse, and per usual, I am joined with the super part of my junior, Tina Zhu.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of K-Stop. This is Tina, and once again, as always, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Last week, I didn't even realize this. Last week was episode 30, which is such a milestone. Yes, so thank you guys for riding with us to episode 30. We love having you.
Indeed.
And as we always say, you guys are as much of K-Stop as we are, which is why we ask you guys for your opinions every week. We got some reader comments coming later in the show, but we also ask you to vote on your favorite release that we discussed last week. And last week was a good episode. We talked about CL's Lifted, EXO's Lotto, and Triple T's Born to Be Wild. Both of us, I think, went with CL's Lifted.
Yes. Yeah.
And the readers agreed because she won with 58% of the votes.
Oh, okay.
EXO came in a close second with 37% of the votes, and Triple T's Born to Be Wild with 5% of the votes.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
It was a tough decision only because I thought they were very gutsy, Triple T.
Right.
And it was just, like I said, it was a hot mess, but I kind of liked it.
So, yes, but the well-liked hot mess didn't end up winning in the end. But thank you guys, as always, for your hundreds and hundreds of votes and thousands of votes. We love it. We love seeing you guys, and thanks, as always, for tuning in. So we're just going to get right into it. I think it's a fun, it's quite fresh episode. We got a bunch of stuff that just dropped. We're really excited. Tina, who's first on our list for you?
Let's go into Red Velvet's new
Red Velvet.
Russian Roulette.
Here they are.
Just dropped.
Yes.
And this is the title track of their new EP.
Yes.
Remind me the name of it. I'm blanking right now.
I think it is called Russian Roulette.
Is it?
Yes, I think it doubles in that way.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I trust you.
But they're here. They're back with their red side. If they were showing the Velvet side last time with the ballad and One of These Nights, here they are back again with the red side, the quirky or fun side.
Quirky
with
is correct.
Quirky is very correct. I mean, just first and foremost, what did you this was sort of like their take on sort of like 8-bit techno-y sound. What are you feeling?
The song itself, I think, is fine. It's very catchy. It's fun. I definitely like this more than their other releases. I think was the most recent one before this, the slow one.
Yeah, the ballad sort of mid-tempo.
That didn't work for me.
That didn't work for you.
That was like really terrible. So
that song grew on me.
This one I thought sounded what I imagined it would. This is what I thought when I thought like the Red Velvet brand. This is kind of what comes up. Like this is what I imagine their aesthetic to be.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I think the song is like, it's not what I expected a song titled Russian Roulette to sound like. 'Cause Russian Roulette is very like, it's like you're taking risks. It's very
it's kind of dark.
It's darker. So when I saw the pastel right away, I was like, this is about to be real different.
Yeah.
But I thought they really made it their own and they made it work.
Yeah.
It was very kind of tongue in cheek, but also the darkness came through in the video because the concept was basically, and obviously I'm sure like this is what everyone was catching on to. They were essentially trying to eliminate the competition in this video.
Right.
And they were interchanging shots of themselves with shots of I can't remember what the cartoon is called, the cat and mouse.
Oh,
cartoon.
that was that's like, wasn't that Felix the Cat?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it the mouse and cat from The Simpsons?
I don't know, but it's like the creepy one.
Yes, it is kind of
creepy.
creepy.
One where they're always trying to end one another.
Yeah, right.
With pranks and like all of that. So yeah, in this video, it was just on the surface it seemed very cute and very innocent, and they looked very doll-like. Their makeup was insanely like
very
pristine and like very porcelain. and then you're like, oh, this is gonna be kind of like another typical like girly generic kind of concept. But then it got really, really dark, and it just showed them like plotting to annihilate the competition. But but the shot would end, the cut would end right before
anything, anything bad happened.
So it was basically them like insinuating that this was happening without making it like explicit.
Yeah, and I think it's
very clever. It was very clever and creepy.
It's an interesting move for them, right? Because they've sort of, they're a newer girl group. They're still kind of fresh on the scene, still showing kind of like innocent sides of themselves, a little more, that kind of charm. And then we're kind of seeing this sort of like subtly dark side coming out. Like there's a lot of bullying almost in this video, lots of like near death scenes.
Like, for example, there was the classic dropping the refrigerator on someone. Like these we're talking literal, like what you see in cartoons in like Tom and Jerry,
throwing pianos on someone.
Like actually, like the classic drop the piano.
Yes.
They hung. The piano they I think shoved off a roof, right?
Or off
like
of down the stairs, I think.
Yeah. And then like that person was obviously crushed. And then they dangled the refrigerator from a rope.
Yeah.
And then
they knocked down down lockers, rows of lockers.
Like a domino effect.
Right.
Knock the locker down, the girl would be crushed.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't. But you would never see the end result.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Scene.
And I really wonder how
envision. It almost makes it worse when they don't show
it. I almost kind of wonder, I'm very curious how they filmed it first and foremost. I hope we get like a behind the scenes video or something. But once again, like lots of bright colors, lots of like very, bright makeup, bright hair colors, lots of them are going Joy's blonde now, and Gary's got the bright red hair and everything.
Which almost kind of makes sense, I guess, for this concept, since they are going more cartoonesque.
Yeah,
and the whole thing's very quirky, and tongue in cheek, and what did you think of the song itself? Because I feel like we both like the concept, and we like that direction, how it's really interesting, a very thorough and thought out concept. Do you like the sound? Because it's very different from the previous single.
I don't think right. So this is once of them going back to like the quirkier up tempo side. I don't think it's right there with like Ice Cream Cake and Dum Dum, because those songs, at least for me, were just like very instant.
This one wasn't very. There wasn't like a real kick to it. It was kind of catchy.
It's catchy, I'm kind of curious. Actually, so we got a reader comment from What Will Said on Twitter, and he wrote me watching #Red Velvet Comeback Russian Roulette. Maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know. But he included that classic GIF of Tyra Banks yelling, "We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you."
Oh, that bad?
And I think, I
That's
think
very extreme.
I think fans, at least, Red Velvet fans, I think, the ballad didn't hit as hard as it probably should have. And, they were really riding high with like Dum Dum and Ice Cream Cake, and, and then they kind of, take this left turn, even though they always said that they were going to kind of do the R&B side and the quirky side. And then they kind of, bring this, and it wasn't as that instant of a Dum Dum or Ice Cream Cake sort of thing. And that's where I think he's kind of coming from, is that like they really wanted this quirky, in your face banger, and it wasn't exactly that. That's no discredit, in my opinion, to Red Velvet. I think they made something interesting here. I think it's kind of like, I almost feel like it's K-pop starting to embrace like PC music a little bit, like that sort of 8-bit sound, very technology based. So I'm curious to see how it's going to do. I don't know. I'm kind of torn about it in general, but more or less I'm kind of like, it's not Ice Cream Cake or Dum Dum, but it's catchy and fun.
I hear what you're saying. I think that however they're lacking sonically, I think they made up for it visually. I thought visually the project was very intriguing.
I hope so.
And it made me want to keep watching. I was totally, because I'm not a big Red Velvet fan. I don't dislike them. I just really they just never resonated with me. So I was totally ready to just have this not hit anywhere. And just,
Right.
like, another kind of like, oh, like, cool.
Cool.
No, I thought it was. I love the video.
Yeah.
Song
All
was
right.
like fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
haven't gotten a chance to listen to the rest of the EP.
Yeah, they do make
I'm
solid
hearing
EPs.
lukewarm things though, which
Really?
is not
Uh-oh.
reassuring.
All right. I'm going to have to listen to it too. Yeah. So,
It is on Spotify. SM has always been good about getting things on Spotify ASAP.
right. Yeah. So
That's
I'm
okay.
excited for
But you're
it
on
too.
Apple
but
Music, so it doesn't matter.
it's also on
Either
Apple
way.
Music. I already saw. So yeah. But yeah, you guys, you know, do you guys have a Tyra Banks like reaction as well? Let us know. We always
K-Stop.
hashtag Kstop. You can hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Jeff__Benjamin.
And I'm Hey_Tina with 3 A's.
Leave a comment on Twitter. Leave a comment on iTunes. Wherever Kstop is, we'll find it.
Yep.
Who's our next release,
All right,
Tina?
let's switch it up because I was excited, but until I saw teaser photos, and I was a little apprehensive. And
I know where this is going.
scared. So Bobby of iKON,
Bobby of iKON.
boy group from YG Entertainment,
Here we are.
finally is dropping a solo album.
Finally, keyword
Finally.
here.
Finally, yes.
I have some thoughts on
it was
that, but we'll get to
postponed.
that.
I believe it was supposed to be June, I think, and it got
Mhm.
postponed to September, which is fine. You know, there's a lot happening in this during the summer anyway. And the song is called Holup, Holup. So he dropped the D, all one word. And
Love dropping the D.
Yeah, and he also won season 3 of Show Me the Money. So
Right.
I think fans who know him from his more, you know, rap projects and hip hop projects, that they wanted him to do something solo to really showcase what he can do, something more official.
Yeah.
Since, you know, when you're in like an idol group, you don't. I mean, granted, he is, I guess, one of the more known members, and he does have, like, you know, decent number of lines, but people want to see what he can do on his own.
Right.
And I was really excited for this, but then I saw some problematic teaser images, and this happens, you know, occasionally in K-pop, and we've brought it up on previous episodes. He was wearing dreads, and it was just a lot of appropriation going on. It also looked like so bad on him. I don't know who the stylists were, but they just need to check themselves, and they need to not. YG has done this with, like, Taeyang did this.
Yes.
And then with JYP, most recently, Junkei had, like, the braids on his caps. And I just need somebody who just is hired to, like, I don't know what the title would be, but, like, basically checking for appropriation, seeing if this, because a lot of your fans are international fans. And,
Right.
like, you might not have to deal with these face, like, directly, but, you know, when a lot of your fans have access online and through social media, it's gonna, you know, start a conversation.
So your issue, just first and foremost, was from the actual the hair itself, or the way
that was the main problem. I
Yeah.
mean, everything else was kind of standard, and there wasn't, like, anything problematic.
Because I saw some fans even bringing up just that his skin tone even looked darker in the teaser
really?
photos and things like that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if I saw all the teaser images, but that was the one that really, like, you know, struck a nerve. But the video dropped, and I think I was a little bit underwhelmed by the song itself. I think I wanted it to be maybe a little softer.
Okay.
I like his sound on My Type, because he has a really nice tone to his voice when he's kind of singing, rapping. And that's what I kind of wanted. But I guess he wanted to stray away from maybe what the group would do normally. So this sounded very, like, it was just so lit. I was just sitting there. I'm like, it's a Tuesday after Labor Day. I'm really tired. I don't want to be here. This just, like, the whole, like, concept of it was just not what I was feeling at the time. If I were at a house party, maybe this would be what I would listen to. But he definitely showed off what he could do. He went hard. He sounded good. It was almost kind of like a psychedelic meets hip hop, meets kind of like skater grungy look.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I see that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know what I kept going back to music wise and music video wise was remember G Dragon and Taeyang's Good Boy.
Yeah.
Just that kind of
Yeah.
like, this felt like just kind of that turned up to like 250%. Like
But
it was
just
like,
not without like a real hook.
right.
It's just it was a lot of yelling.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of like this about Bobby personally, is that like he has that really kind of, it's almost like aggressive or like aggro, like it just gets like, it's really growly, it's really like aggressive, like in your face. And I always like that about him. I think he like, I feel like he stole the show. He was on this Epic High song, I remember. And I just remember really like being taken aback, like how he just went for it. And lots of times he's like sort of the standout.
He definitely does not hold back.
No, he definitely doesn't. But yeah, and like here he is on this song and he's kind of, going harder than ever. The beat's harder than ever. It's kind of like all these different things going on.
It's interesting because this comes like a week or two after August D.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. It's almost like him stepping up.
Both of those were like them inside a house, a room, and really tearing the place apart. Obviously, with very different aesthetics and concepts. But it's just I didn't expect both of them to, especially August D. That just blew my mind. Just
Sugar
doesn't seem like he would pack so much energy.
Right.
Bobby didn't surprise me that much, so
yeah,
in that sense.
And he came hard. He did what he had to do. But at the same time, I'm almost kind of like, Show Me the Money 3 was 2014, I think.
Yeah.
It's 2016 now. iKON has kind of been, randomly, kind of like spottily releasing things, right? And it's almost kind of like, why didn't he, he had so much hype over him. He had endorsement deals. He was really like this star at the time.
Right.
That might have been, in my opinion, when I said keyword was finally, it was like, wait, I feel like this should have came years ago, and I'm like, was the hype kind of, now it almost feels a little random that like Bobby's kind of releasing, and it's like iKON I feel like should be the focus right now. Maybe it was the time back then to kind of drop something for Bobby, let that hype build up for iKON.
Right.
But no, they kind of, they focused on the band at that time. And now he's coming out with it. I also think it's an interesting point. Do you know that Winner's Minnow is dropping something the next day?
Yeah,
which
I saw teasers for that too.
Right. And it's kind of, it continues this sort of rivalry that's sort of been happening with Winner and iKON.
Right.
And I think that's, I don't know, like on one hand, I think like it's kind of fun to see that, like the next, but on the other hand, I'm like,
that cross promotion.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm wondering, are they just dividing fans and like messing with fans at this point?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I'm kind of
K-pop. It's all about the fandomonium and just causing a little bit of rile people up a little bit.
Right, but I wonder if it's gonna hurt them in the end. I don't know. Like, it's gonna be interesting. I don't want one to outshine the other.
Right.
I want them both to shine on their own. But the timing is very interesting, especially given iKON's been a little spotty with the releases.
Mm-hmm.
Winner hasn't released anything since that first EP. Right. Like, what's going on?
Do you like Holup?
It's a good turn-up song. I think I prefer something like Good Boy a little more, just a little, smoother, done a little more. I'll listen. It's a banger. I'll listen to it again for sure. Timing and all that aside, yeah, it's a good release. Showcases, him like as the rapper I know him to be. So yeah, respectable job.
Has the full album dropped?
I'm not sure.
I just haven't seen any links about it.
Right. I'm trying to think too, right?
And it's YG, so it's definitely not going to be on Spotify for a little bit.
Right. Well, like I'm seeing right now, that a single was the only thing like uploaded right now.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe more is coming. But right now, all I'm seeing, at least in the U.S., is the actual single itself. Yeah. Is this a full-length album coming or an EP or something?
That's what they said. It's his debut studio album.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe they're waiting for Minnow to drop. I don't know. But it's interesting. I'm kind of I'm really curious what fans, because I remember a lot of. It was someone actually brought this up when I was at KCON. They're speaking at KCON, and they were saying like, "What do you think about the future of YG? Big Bang's leaving soon. Winner and iKON. Those fandoms are fighting with each other. At the time Blackpink hadn't debuted. What do I think about?"
Crazy because they're from the same own label.
It is crazy, right, exactly. So
know?
it's like, you wonder like, how is this all going to, and SM, for example, I didn't realize it, but they had always variated, like doing male group, female group, male group, and I think that's always, that kind of plays to their advantage, I think.
Right,
But
right, right.
here's these two coming out, so I don't know. It's
I don't know. I guess it's always kind of been like that because they debuted, around the same time. They were
right,
like they were almost I feel like they were almost set up to always be compared to one another and take on one
right,
another
yeah,
because that's just the circumstances under which they formed and the
yeah,
fans will always be under that mentality.
yeah,
I think
right,
unless you like weren't there in the beginning and just kind of randomly,
yeah.
discover them or something.
It's an interesting strategy. I'm kind of curious to see kind of how it plays out in the end. Like so far, neither group has really proven to be like the Big Bang, predecessor, or not predecessor, follow
Right,
up.
right,
Not that anyone needs to be Big Bang's, second, follow up, but they haven't had anyone hit quite as big as Big Bang yet. They're all doing quite well, obviously, but
right.
I think the brand is strong. I think the brand is safe.
Yeah.
YG's a smart company. Being in the big three is like, look, I don't think we thought JYP would be where it's at, this year, and they're doing incredible, this year, like with their
Right,
new
right.
bands and things like that. So you just,
Yeah.
I always say, have faith. I don't think they're going anywhere soon.
Yeah. I just hope like when the actual full album drops or EP or whatever it
Mhm.
is, that he has something a little bit, smoother on there that's not
I'd be
just
into that.
like
Yeah.
I feel like this is some I say this all the time. Like certain songs I can only listen to them under certain circumstances or in
sure.
certain surroundings. Like
Yeah.
this is not something I would just play. It's not the most versatile track.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
yeah.
do think it packs a punch. It's something he wanted to, debut with
Mhm.
something loud and aggressive.
Yeah. It definitely makes a statement.
Exactly. It's a statement making track.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing if he releases like, or like if he promotes, like a, what do you call that? Like a secondary single or a
Mhm.
second title track or something
Yeah.
alongside this one.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. I agree. I want to just see different sides of him,
Yeah,
different
yeah,
sides of
yeah.
Bob. I would love to see like a mid-tempo sort of thing. That'd be cool.
Exactly. I think that's like my like comfort zone
Yeah.
for
Well,
Bobby.
and I think it's why we liked, Suga's mixtape too, because there was a lot of versatility within
Mhm.
that. So, and diversity.
Production. I'm interested in seeing the production on this.
Yeah.
So, because you you got Teddy Park in there, so I know there's gonna be
Yes.
some bomb ass production in that project.
I'm into it. Yes, yes, yes. Let us know what you guys think of Bobby. We'll discuss winners Minnow next week, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to compare the two and see how they do.
Absolutely.
And yeah, let us know what you guys think. And last but not least, you want to introduce our last topic,
so
Tina?
this veteran group, we're going all over the place with genres today. We're gonna talk about Clazziquai and their release called I Wonder, and I believe it's off their 7th album called Traveler or Travelers. I can't remember if there's plural,
Mhm.
but this group has been around for well over a decade.
Yeah.
They are a very quirky kind of. I think the best way to describe their sound is like a jazzy experimental dance.
I think that's perfect.
Like they're dancey, but not like doosh, doosh. It's not like
Yeah.
club dance. It's like smooth jazz dance.
It's a
but-
little I think they call that acid house, or acid
okay.
jazz,
That
or
makes sense.
house
That makes
music.
sense.
I hear a lot of house now, and
Yeah.
even though that's like a very trendy sound right now, they've always kind of had that at their core, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. It's very, when you hear a Clazziquai song, it's very, very apparent for the most part. Lots of
Yeah.
instrumentals, lots of experimentation. A lot of people who have maybe watched, who are into K-dramas, My Name is Kim Samsoon or My Lovely Samsoon, their opening theme song was kind of what put Clazziquai on the map, called Be My Love, I think. So that's a very, I guess, well-known sound or beat when you hear it. So yeah, they finally come back with a new track called I Wonder. And it's very, very quintessential Clazziquai, I feel like. And it's also, but what I like about it is they take it back. They pay homage to their early days. So the video, they have basically actors playing younger versions of themselves, which I thought was so cute.
Yeah.
And the sound is very like their early sounds. And I don't know if you like Clazziquai. What did you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like super familiar with them. You know, I know
not, like, really like flat. Like they're not flashy in the sense that they're kind of like promoting all over the place, you know?
Right, but they're certainly like a big part, you know, or important part of K-pop, and that's why we want to hit all aspects of it on K-Stop.
Like, old heads like they who have followed Clazziquai, like I'm sure they're excited to hear about, you know, new releases from them.
Right, exactly. And I thought this was so smooth, so nice. I love her voice. I love his voice too. You know, it was just like it was a really good, just like solid release. And I think like they almost kind of like have gotten like a lucky break because house music is just kind of so in right now, and like especially in K-pop, and like that sort of smoother jazz, acid jazz sort of sound also makes its way into the mix, very on like trend, I feel like, as well. And it just like worked so well in that kind of way, and I really ended up liking this, so much so that I really want to now check out more of their like past material and things like that. And especially if you said this is sort of like a throwback to their older stuff, I really want to check it out now.
They're someone who puts a lot of thought into things, and like really like subtle things, like I think so their first studio album from I think '04 is called Instant Pig, which is an interesting title. But they show the three of them listening with headphones on with Instant Pig, the actual records lying there next to them. And I thought, little things like that I think like fans of theirs would really appreciate. And I like how they didn't just have the actors act the parts, they had them lip sync some like here and there. But it wasn't like overkill where they're just like lip syncing the whole thing, but it was just here and there.
No, it felt very realistic too, the video almost, or like I almost was kind of like, oh, did they all hang out or something, or did they all like because by the end they're kind of both like they're almost standing there as if they're a band or something, and I loved that too. It just all read very like genuine and honest, and like nothing like,
it was very raw and like very relatable, and like when anything involving kind of like throwing it back to the days when y'all were just starting out, and kind of just you were a bit more carefree. Things, I feel like those kind of sentiments always resonate with people. You can never really go wrong with nostalgia, I feel like. And usually don't get these kind of feels in K-pop, so it's very like cool to get that brought into the mix, and like I loved that. And the people who played them like really did look like them, like DJ Clazzy, that's what I kind of envisioned him to look like when he was younger, and or I guess like in like school days, I guess. And it's just great to like hear from Horan and Alex, and I remember like Alex, he released solo stuff like maybe like when we were in college, and he sounds so good. He's very he has a very smooth voice, and I just like miss hearing them. I think I really like this. I don't know how, like, I want to say this is my favorite of the week.
Really?
I want to say, just because I had like my reservations with the other two.
Yeah, you know what? I think I might go with you too. I mean, this just like this is like the first song from their upcoming full-length album that's dropping on the 20th. And I'm really, really excited to hear it now based off this. And like I hope there's like more quality music. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me, I feel like do you know Nell? Nell albums are always like, I feel like very thought out, nothing like smashed in your face, but they always bring quality. They always bring like, something that is meaningful and something good. And that's like, it's like getting me hyped, like how I get hyped for Nell albums.
I like artists who really, they just give an effortless kind of weekend vibe.
Yes.
You know, and like Clazziquai really gives you that like chill Saturday, Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
You're chilling.
I'm so here for it.
You know, and it's not it's not where you really like. Obviously, you would pay attention to the lyrics and all of that, but it's something that you can just like play in the background, and you know, it's just very comforting.
It's just good. I mean, they sound great. They sound like they haven't, you know, they've obviously matured, you know, since they've come out. But, you know, it's like, I'm just very impressed. So maybe they get my vote as well. So there we go. Yep, that's our vote. Let us know what you guys vote for, Red Velvet, Bobby, or Clazziquai.
Yes.
And yes, on our poll on Fuse.tv, where you can also listen to all the music we talk about and lots of other fun stuff there. So check it out. Now let's get ourselves into some charts. Let's see who's rocking the charts, where we look at the top 5 K-pop songs on US iTunes right now. I'm kind of curious to see who's because we have some internationally popular acts right now. But let's see what we got. So coming in at number 5 this week is NCT Dream, chewing gum.
You know, I still haven't listened to that song. I keep forgetting.
I saw a really funny, well, actually, I was, shout out to Colette Bennett, my friend who writes for Daily Dot. She did this kind of cool article about K-pop memes and how it kind of like resonates in fandoms and stuff. And I saw a really funny one that she posted about how NCT Dream's fandom name is called Babysitters.
Oh, I knew it had to be something like that. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't know if I even want to try listening to it. It might just weird me out.
Right.
You know, I feel like not that I'm like old or anything, but I feel like after a certain age, it's just a little. It's like watching like your like younger sibling like prance around up there.
Oh, I don't know, but
I guess I mean if the song is in the top 5, must be decent.
It's NCT is resonating in some way. Number 4 still hasn't left the top 5. Boombayah.
All right.
By Blackpink. There they are again.
That came on Pandora this morning.
Oh yeah.
As I was getting ready.
I gotta say that one has grown on me a ton.
It's grown on me. I hated it at first, as you know.
Yeah. No, it really has grown on me. I love that beat drop. Number 3, Russian Roulette by Red Velvet.
Okay.
Already rising on up there. Number 3. Number 2, Whistle Like a Missile.
Okay.
Bum, bum.
What's number 1?
Yeah. Who do you think?
It's
Bobby with Holup.
Oh my god.
YG taking the top 2.
Okay, that's dope.
This is a YG SM exclusive top 5. Damn. Bobby has already risen right up there, and this, we're not recording this too much later after he.
Junkei's fuming right now.
Junkei. 2 p.m.'s coming back though soon.
I know. I'm ready. I'm so ready for this 2 p.m. comeback.
Oh,
Y'all
boy.
might never hear from me again when this drops.
When Tina literally explodes. But yeah, let us know who's on your guys' top 5 or your favorite releases of the week. And now let's get into our deep cut of the week. This one's I think this one's kind of interesting. Tina, do you want to spearhead this one?
So I guess like this isn't anything that's particularly new to K-pop. It's just something we just haven't talked about. And I don't want to say incident, but so
sort of something that's been prodding at us that we kind of wanted to,
So I saw online that the leader of Super Junior, Leeteuk, who is prone to making voluntary comments about what women should and shouldn't look like, or what his own standards for women are, but then he tends to kind of like make it sound like it should be everybody's standards. So I don't know if this were I think it was on a show where I don't know if someone asked him something, but he recalled a situation when he saw how much a girl can transform through hair and makeup.
Right.
Which I'm sorry. If
YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And no. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize that within 20 minutes you could look like a whole nother person. And it was just like very shocking. So in the future, before I marry my future wife, I'm going to make a point to make sure I know what she looks like barefaced or fresh-faced, aka no makeup.
Yes.
And essentially he's implying that if she doesn't look as close to what she looks like with makeup or how he first saw her or whatever, she's like almost not worthy of his attention anymore, that like that's a deal breaker if she looks drastically different without makeup on.
Right.
Which I think is just such a horrible mentality to have. And not that this is, a lot of men in Asia have this kind of low-key misogynistic way of addressing women's appearances. I guess I wanted to bring this up on this episode because I think it's very ironic that you're in the K-pop industry where everyone stresses appearances, and yet when someone personally wants to do the least invasive way of making yourself look better, aka just not insert a fake nose but just put on some makeup, you have a problem with that. And then B, you wear more makeup than like half the people in SM, and you're a man, so what's the problem? You're also really short. How about you? People are saying, why don't you take out your insoles in your shoes, and maybe she'll not want to be with you because you're freaking 4 feet tall. Like, I'm sorry. This really struck a nerve with me.
Yes.
I just think that like not that like if you're 6 feet tall and not wearing makeup that it validates you saying that. It doesn't. Right. I just think that it's really ironic for him to be making these comments.
I think that's the part that's...
and I have seen zero positive feedback to this. Like, nobody is, like, co-signing him on these comments.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. So I think the irony is the thing that kind of blows my mind, or is kind of, rubbing me the wrong way the most, too, because, like, it's just a very backwards way of just being like, oh, I'm going to, I think so I'm getting these translations via netizenbuzz.com, but it's called, he says, any woman I choose to marry, I will make sure I check her bare face no matter what. And it's like, oh, like
check her, as the way he speaks is as if he owns the girl.
Yeah.
Like, you can't dictate how she...
Right, like it's almost like you'll check on it, It's like it's a little, and so also I would,
like, how romantic. It's like, and he has like a little checklist or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, lots of times, on these variety shows, whatnot, they say these comments that kind of are meant to be funny, but are actually kind of might reveal something else, which is kind of interesting. But also, I would ask that question to him too. I'd say, well, will you allow your wife to see, your bare face, or your, without the glam and the makeup and the nice hair and things like that and the nice clothes?
Like, he requires plenty of maintenance himself.
Yes, and that's the thing too, is that, I'm a little even more taken aback that this comment is coming from a Korean man, because, makeup and, skincare and beauty, regimens are a pretty much accepted part of that society, from what I understand. It's much more common than, say, in a place like America or Europe, where, men's beauty is still kind of, seen as, to every man's detriment, is still seen as, a feminine sort of thing, or not something men pay attention to as much. But in Asia, it's pretty much accepted, especially in the entertainment industry, that, like, they wear makeup. They don't even try to hide it, lots of eyeliner, lots of, foundation, lots of BB cream. And that's awesome, because, it just kind of makes for a more attractive person. Why not? But I think this comment is a little is just very backwards, in that, like, he knows this is part of, the daily thing, and
the industry that you're from is like
especially
one of the fundamental, like, elements of it.
And I really like that comment, and this didn't even strike me at first, but I really like that comment you just said about it. Makeup and those kind of things are the least invasive ways of kind of enhancing your appearances if you need it. And it definitely came off misogynistic, not the right way. There was kind of like a couple, this might have been the same TV show, I'm not totally sure, but he kind of had some not so kind comments, in my opinion, about After School's Lizzie, who he was basically point blank asked her, if she got work done. And he was kind of like joking, making jokes about like her face and things like that.
Right.
And, she said, I've gotten my eyes done. I've talked about that in the past, but
Right.
like, I don't know what you're referring
Right.
to, but no, I haven't gotten,
You know what?
anything else.
It's interesting that you point that out because that's a very common way for people in Asia to ask questions, but kind of do it in a way that makes it seem like they're not trying to be rude, because they're asking blatantly rude things that if you asked here, you just get a slap in the face.
Right.
Over there, they're just like, they mask it under this kind of like what's the word, like what's the word, like where you act like you don't know what you're doing. Where
naivety or being naive.
yeah, where you're being naive and you're like, oh, like I wish, like
your face looks different.
Right. They just point it out, being like, trying to make it sound like they're genuinely curious. They try to use that curiosity as a way to, it's just, it's a very selfish way to communicate. It's just all about what you want to know.
It's plain dumb when you actually have, a result in mind.
Taking into account or consideration of how that person might feel if you ask them this question.
Yeah.
And I worked in China for about 8-9 months, briefly, and people would do that all the time.
Really?
Be like, I don't know, but I just witnessed a lot of it.
Really?
And
you saw it to yourself even personally?
Yeah, I can't remember like exact examples, but a lot of it is appearance based because that's what they see.
Well, it sounds like it's just a part of
for example,
society.
one time, like I had a pimple, and like people have that sometimes.
Right.
And if you see someone here with a pimple, you're not going to be like, oh my God, why do you have a, like, of course they have a pimple because they're having a breakout. Like they can't control that.
Right.
Like you don't need to make them feel worse. I think they're aware when they woke up this morning they have a pimple.
Oh,
Whereas,
so people would
I
bring
went
up these
into
things.
the office, and my coworker, they try to, I mean, in her mind it was harmless. They like to just point out things that they notice about other people.
Sure.
So it'd be like, she's like, oh no, you have a pimple. And I'm like, yes, girl, I know. Like,
oh, so it wasn't like, hey, is like, are you feeling stressed out lately, or did you change your bed sheets recently? It wasn't like that.
Sometimes it would be like that. This time she was just blatantly like, oh my gosh, you have a pimple. Acting like she cared. But like, I think she just felt the need to point it out. And I just think it's a very entitled way of communicating.
I agree.
You don't need to throw out your thoughts on everything. You need to reel it back, like filter your thoughts and what you verbalize and what you don't verbalize. And I think that some of it is cultural.
Yes.
And they don't get called out for it the way that, in the States, what we consider to be acceptable is not always, acceptable in other countries and vice versa.
And I think it'd be different, if you're kind of thinking that this might, maybe you and your friends might call each other's pimples out or something. But I think from what I understand that this person, probably was just a colleague of yours. And that was sort of like her just understanding that this is normal to do, or like, call these things out.
It's a very nosy thing. It's just nosy to me.
And my whole thing is always, just what is your end result? Are you trying to make someone feel good? Probably not. If this person is going to feel good about those comments in the end, if not, probably don't say it.
Why do you need to put someone in a comfortable position?
Yes.
Why would Leeteuk ask Lizzie blah 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 blah? Like, and even if it were like maybe talked about backstage, or like, oh, maybe I'll bring this up when they walk through the script, like, why would that be a topic?
Yeah. And it's one thing, I know producers get involved. I know, lots of times these things are just meant to be funny, but like, I think there was still a choice being made, and there was a way of saying it, I think, that seems a little, not so not so sympathetic.
Right.
And I don't know if Leeteuk has had surgery himself, but it's quite
let's be real. I'm pretty sure he has.
It's quite a common thing in this country,
He doesn't even look good either. Also irony.
So, it's just kind of like, you got to wonder where this empathy, and I think, this isn't sort of the first kind of comment we've seen from him in this way. So, we're just kind of I think sometimes you just kind of got to talk about, you got to put these people on blast
Right.
and say, like, hey, like what were you actually looking to accomplish? And it doesn't
Right.
sound like it was a very
And like I just think
worthy
Super
goal.
Junior. I mean, there are really really sweet members of Super Junior who have not been problematic. But I do remember a few years ago, Ye Sung like went on a variety show saying how like he doesn't like girls with like fat legs or fat thighs, and they're like. And then he like dug himself into a deeper hole by saying, "Oh, it's fine if you're like an old lady because
Oh,
nobody's
no.
looking at you. But if you're a younger girl, like he just had all these like A, B, and C standards.
Yeah.
I
I don't.
just don't understand. Like, how do you get like that? Like, I
Yeah.
don't see. I don't hear people. I mean, not everyone in Big Bang is like not problematic, but in general, I feel like Taeyeon, like he doesn't say like these very rude things about females. I mean, everyone's different, raised differently in different environments. But it's just really disappointing. I just feel like Super Junior is just, what makes it really sad is that on some of the forums, you're like, oh, this doesn't surprise me. Like of course, someone from Super Junior is being problematic. It's like a daily thing. Like this is probably every
Yeah.
day for them. And
I know, right? And that's the thing, that like there's such big celebrities, such, accomplished careers, for so long. And then it's just, I don't know, like, they could be the example. They could, be a better example in those kind of ways.
right,
But, it's a little disheartening. I 100% agree. And, I just, anyone out there who's thinking about making some comments about someone's appearance, just think about your end game. What are you actually trying to accomplish here? Let's all keep that in mind. Okay,
he
guys?
also just can't have it both ways. He can't want a girl to like. A lot of guys want girls who they appreciate girls who like get dressed up for them and like
Right.
get dolled up and stuff and look good for them. You can't have girls wanting girls to look a certain way and like measure up to your standard of beauty and then also expect them to not put in that effort. Like nobody just wakes up looking like that.
Right. That's the thing. It's like, good luck, like looks aren't everything. Looks are fleeting, like
He's basically implying that like
they need to be perfect
they might
all the
be
time.
they might be like totally compatible with each other, but she might need to put in an extra 20 minutes in the bathroom every morning, and like that's not okay with you. Like screw you.
Yeah. It's a little, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just wanted more from those comments, like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
you
and
know. So I'll be, I am glad to, even on Netizen Buzz, which, translates comments from, Korean citizens and whatnot. It seemed like there was more or less negative reaction
right,
to saying, why don't, you wash off your makeup? Hey, you wear a lot of makeup too. So I'm glad to see, it isn't just strictly, defense or, oh yeah, like, I agree, things
right,
like that. So
right.
I'm hoping that, those social justice warriors come out and come to defend and,
Right.
come for Lizzie's sake and everything,
Yeah,
So
I think it was just very gutsy of him to
gutsy, yeah.
play. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's very gutsy of him to get involved in one of like
In something
women's biggest insecurities.
right.
The whole, especially like in K-pop, they do like, oh, look at how she looks fresh faced,
Yeah.
and like it's almost like, oh, if you look good without makeup, it's almost like you're
Yeah.
just automatically more attractive or
Yeah.
something.
Which is weird. I've never understood that. I don't know if I agree with it. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of part of that culture and things like that. But I do think, yeah, it's the most ironic thing is that he's putting his hand into a pot that he's already in,
Yeah.
like, so just very
Like,
ironic.
all right, pot. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Just like keep stirring it even though you're already in it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. We'd be very interested to hear what you guys have to think. We'll feature your comments, of course, on next week's episode. And
Or
is
if you're a Leeteuk fan, how do you feel about these comments?
yeah,
That
or just
your favy, your bias made.
yeah, because we want to know that aspect too. Like, is it tough? Or do
Can
you
you
agree with him?
continue to be a fan of somebody who,
Yeah, or just
pushes ideals like that?
or lots. We've brought up lots of struggling, issues, between
Yeah.
people. But it seems like lots of times people are very willing to, see the different sides of their favorites and whatnot. So we'd be interested to hear the other side of the coin. I think we've been pretty unbiased in this way, but hopefully, you guys have a pretty, we'd love to hear what you guys think about this, about all the releases, anything else we talk about K-Stop. As you know, you can hit us up on hashtag K-Stop. I'm at Jeff__Benjamin.
And I'm at Hey_Tina with 3 A's.
Yeah, so hit us up in any ways. We love hearing from you guys. We love featuring your comments. Hit us up anytime. But that's been this for this week's K-Stop. As always, this has been Jeff.
And this is Tina.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.